Dr. Jazz.
Hey guys,
Dr.
Samo here.
Jazz.
Thanks for checking out the channel and its contents. And if you feel like it, please do subscribe. Thanks so much. Enjoy the video. Bye. Yeah,
Yeah, you're in Slovenia, you said?
Slovenia. Yeah, yeah. You played
Oh,
in
wow.
Ljubljana, right?
Yeah, I
I
did.
think
That's
like
a long
years
time
ago.
ago, though.
A long time ago. Yeah,
Yeah, like,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
We have to bring you
Mm,
back, man. Love the trio. So
thank you. Yeah, I would love to. We have touring coming up. It's
I
it's
saw
really
that.
a band that keeps breathing. That's good.
Yeah,
Mm,
I saw
mm.
that you have a lot of gigs like Germany and going to the States as well, right? Next year, which is
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
Yeah.
Inshallah, if they will let us in, we
Yeah,
have to
I've
have.
been playing with some musicians from Chicago now, like this week, and they were just like, it's terrible the situation. So it's
Yeah, I don't know.
it's hard.
We have
But
to have new work visas. They lasted 3 years, so.
yeah, I heard.
So our manager there, he filed the applications like before summer, but it can take 9 months, we just
Yeah,
heard. So
it's
yeah,
insane. It's insane, really.
we'll
But
see.
yeah, that's yeah.
You're American?
I'm Slovenian. I'm from Slovenia. So
You are Slovenian, so
yeah,
you
yeah.
just have a very good English with an American accent.
Yeah, I studied English, American literature actually, and translation. I have a
Ah,
PhD in translation, so it's my completely different. I spent
I
some time in New
see.
York as well, so it's yeah,
Ah, cool.
kind of.
Yeah. Oh well, but stay in Slovenia. That's a beautiful
Oh
place.
man, if I take a look outside through the window, it's like yeah,
Yeah,
I'm not changing, man. So we're here in the vineyards, and so it's like yep, uh,
fantastic. Yeah.
yeah. But I wanted to ask you, since you have all these new gigs coming up, are you preparing something new, like a new album? Because Seeing was the last one, right, by the trio, which I
Yeah.
love, by the way. And
Oh,
uh,
thank you. Thank you. No, we are always developing the repertoire on tour, like adding
okay,
new ideas and yeah, I think then eventually we will record again, hopefully next year. But it's a long process of finding studio dates and matching it if we are when we are then releasing on ECM
yeah,
records, matching their always a bit too busy release calendar. But hopefully, I think we will record next year and then release in late next year or 27. I would
so yeah,
think so. Yeah,
fantastic.
yeah,
And
yeah.
how does it go with you with composing with the band? I mean, with the trio, like, or in general with you, like, I transcribed some melodies by you, like I did the Embrace,
Mhm. Oh, yeah,
and the chords are like very, like lots of slash chords, like major chords, minor chords, but the
yeah.
melodies are like that's the victory, man. Like, how do you come up with this melodies and this idea of restraint almost when composing that you're not over composing? I'll put it like that. When do you
Mhm.
know what's the process of composition with you? I mean, and then proposing it to the band as well. And
Yeah, it goes in, it happens in different ways. Uh, Often, an idea is born on sound check. That's one of the best places to get ideas. And then sometimes just fooling around myself on the piano, and sometimes directly inspired by something the others do spontaneously on sound check, and then I will throw an idea to them, and they might respond to that. And if I feel, yeah, this maybe this is something, then I would just record it on my phone and get back to it and see if there was indeed something there, or and then sometimes a small idea is more or less ready to be included, and we try it out in concert. And other times I walk around with it for weeks to try and feel what it needs in terms of a contrasting part or a B part, or or yeah, but whichever way and sometimes I also come up with ideas at my rehearsal space
Yeah.
when I'm alone and bring that to the others. That also happens. But whichever way it happens, it's a process of finding what feels essential and
Mm.
and finding uh, and trying to peel away any uh, unnecessary layers of complexity or of thinking too hard. Still, sometimes the ideas are bitonal or ambiguous when it comes to key. So it's not like we always do three chord songs, but
No, no, sure. Yeah.
but but um, the melody should either be just like a good riff, a starting point for something, or like ideally a very good lullaby, like a song that you can walk around with, that you can feel
Yeah.
embraced by, that you can feel nourished by, and that's the important thing. Complexity and structure is only a tool that you, to various extents, work with in terms of being more advanced or contrasting ideas with ideas in different rhythms or different keys, things like that. Sometimes I do that, but it always comes from the starting point of wanting to provide the band with essentiality
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
and sensual material that we can work with abstraction in the live concert setting. The ideas themselves are seldom abstract, but the way we treat them in concert can be anything from
Oh,
very
sure.
simplistic to almost symphonic and very free and very bitonal or tritonal often. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, it's like the importance of melody. It's like all the greats that I love, Or even
Mhm.
if I think about the Norwegian tradition, Jan Garbarek, I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's basically you can sing the melodies, even though then the solos go like whew,
Yeah. Yeah.
wherever, and or
Yeah.
like Paul
True.
Motion, or even Ornette, like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
this is so amazing that it's many times missing in modern jazz, in my opinion.
Yeah,
It's
in my
you know,
mind too. That well, there is value in any and every
yeah,
approach, but for me, if the music connects to a basic kind of childlike humming, then the danger of alienation is much less. It's much more likely that we make music that comes from the heart if it connects to the inner child in a way,
mm,
and then we go from there.
yeah. Yeah, it's more likely you're gonna sing like "Pa via do da da," than come up with a second Gabriel Agnes, dun dun dun. It's I don't know.
Very
It's true.
true.
It's
Yeah,
true.
very true. Yeah, yeah,
It's funny. Well, where did
yeah.
this come with you? Like, how did it start with you that you started to nourish this kind of composing and playing? I mean, was it already in the beginning when you started to play piano, or like the influences that you listened to were like that as well, or?
It's a very good question. Do you have time?
Yeah, please, man. I mean, that's why we're here. So I have
Yeah.
my coffee.
No,
So
I no, I started I started playing when I was very little. Like my father played the piano. He was not doing it professionally, but he played a lot at home, and I sat on his knee and we started improvising and
mm,
playing four-handed from very early on. And then the lullabies and the spirituals, both from Norwegian folk tradition and from African American spirituals, and the hymns played in church in Norway. Those were my uh, basic. Those formed my basic musical landscape and spiritual landscape. So everything in adult years somehow refers back to that. And then he also taught me to read music, and I played classical piano, but the singing and the very intuitive approach came first, and I started composing and improvising before I learned how to read musical
Wow. Okay.
notation. So that's one thing, and then um, my conservatory studies were in jazz and music theory, and during those years, I, of course, expanded a lot and studied different traditions, and especially the the well-defined jazz traditions from the 1950s, or actually rather the 1940s till until 1960s. That was the part of music history we studied with the most depth, and we studied
Interesting.
holistically, listening, transcribing, understanding the harmonic theory, singing everything, improvising with also with voice in the styles, and singing bass lines, singing harmonies. This holistic approach to jazz traditions was very, very important. And then I also studied more impressionist harmony, neoclassical, um, Hindemith, Shostakovich,
Oh.
Bartok, Prokofiev way of doing harmony, and also older counterpoint, Palestrina and Bach. Um, and by the end of conservatory training, I had learned a lot and I could integrate it, but the real clicking or coming together of stretching out and coming from the heart, so to speak, came a little later.
Mm.
And my interpretation is that it came through, um, of course, my whole life was preparing for it, but then there was biographically a tragedy happening in my family where the need for music to be deeply comforting, to be deeply nourishing, and to for music to be a place to go with grief, to find
Yeah.
strength, and to
Yeah.
find something real, like not easy listening, beautiful music, but music that had a kind of stripped down, honest beauty that nourishes the soul in times of grief. But yeah,
Sure.
that happened, and when I see in retrospect the composing and the improvising that happened after that kind of found a way to unite the simplistic lullaby type quality with bitonality,
Mm.
with open, airy harmony, um, uniting, so to speak, the airiness and the groundedness in a new way.
Mm. I
And
see.
I came back to the hymns and the gospel structures of my childhood and youth choir music, came back to that with the stretching out with the more advanced harmony that I had been studying, and in a way it came together. And yeah, that happened then. I don't know, that's around 20 years ago now,
Oh,
and
okay.
and everything I've been doing since is a way, in a way, different kinds of manifestation of that, and different kinds of looking at that, and different kinds of feeling how to go from there, so to speak.
Mm. Yeah. Well, yeah, I feel that there's like no ego when I listen to it. You know, we tend to overplay. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, that's
you know, it's
I find it beautiful that you say that. Of course, it's not entirely true. We all have egos to both to enjoy and to struggle with,
yeah.
but the the main thing is to listen more than you play, and to not let ego in the sense of showing off, or
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
ego in the sense of clinging too firmly and to any idea of what you should do, to subordinate the ego to the unfolding music as an ecosystem,
Mm-hmm.
as a place of nourishment.
Yeah.
And then it's also much more likely that you then invite listeners in a good way. But I could never be an entertainer. I could never play for the listener first. I have to play for myself, but to try to play for myself as a listener, not as a person
Mm.
wanting to show all the things I have rehearsed
Yeah.
and all the things I've planned and all the things that might be cool to do. Like, I try to play what I need to hear,
Yeah.
and then just expand the circle with the audience from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. I love that with you. That you like when I mean I have all of your ECM records and
Mhm.
starting already like that one back like the changing places. It's like
Mhm.
you're following that trajectory, just like the idea that you're actually your own voice, not caring whether
Mhm.
you have to show off some butt power licks or whatever. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like wow, it's you. It's beautiful. It's
That's
very rare.
beautiful. And it's also, of course, very important to find musicians to work with who who share the same, although we might not use the same terminology when speaking about it, that musicians who share the same passion and who will naturally subordinate their egos to the unfolding music.
Yep.
And um, and I've been blessed to find that, especially with Jarle Vespestad, the drummer, who's been with me on all the
Oh yeah,
albums.
yeah.
He has technical abilities like any drummer. He can play anything, but he chooses to really to distill somehow the what feels needed for these songs here and now. And he's so melodically involved in
Hmm.
his playing that it really feeds the music and serves the totality.
Yeah, yeah. You serve the music. That's
Yeah,
yeah. It's true. I mentioned changing places. How did that record happen? I mean, that's like your debut for ECM and
yeah,
coming to ECM, which has a huge piano tradition going back to the early 70s. How
yeah,
did that
yeah,
connection with I mean, it's almost natural that you're an ECM for me musically. It's like any other
yeah,
label would be like, no. I mean, that you don't fit on any
yeah,
other. But like, how
yeah,
did the connection with Manfred happen, and especially changing places? Like,
yeah.
what's the story behind there?
Well, I had been listening a lot to ECM records in my late youth and during my studies, and uh, had huge, huge gratitude for what they had brought to the world and to me. But in the years leading up to the recording of Changing Places, I was listening more to Afro-Caribbean music, to
Really? Oh
early
wow.
blues,
Oh,
to neo New Orleans jazz, and to a bunch of things that one would say is not so naturally connected to the ECM tradition.
yeah.
And then we formed this trio, and we were playing both as an instrumental trio and also accompanying a singer that had lots of exposure, and we toured the world with her. And but then after a while, I felt it's time to record something. I feel that we may have something to say as a trio, and I basically booked the Rainbow Studios in Oslo,
Mm,
which is around the corner from where I live, and we went there and did a session, and I didn't think that that would fit on ECM at the time. But then Manfred Eicher, he came to the same studio a week or two later to record something else, and then the sound engineer there, he had just played Manfred a couple of tracks from our
Oh,
session, like without asking permission. And Manfred basically called me up and said, I would like to release your music. And I was surprised. In retrospect, I really see it. It fits beautifully. And then we went back to the studio with Manfred and recorded a few more songs and
okay.
mixed the totality. And he was then very helpful. We were already on the way, so to speak, in understanding how to how to emphasize what we were
This quality, yeah.
where our strongest message lay. And so when I was looking at us this session, I was already thinking, let's start with a slow song and then
Yeah,
continue with one more slow song. But I still had this bit this compulsory feeling that you have to alternate with fast and slow songs, and yeah. But Manfred was just, no, 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 in this session, this is the strongest message. We just stay with that.
mm,
And on later recordings, he did the opposite thing. He challenged us to make more waves, and he challenged us to do contrasts, but of course only contrasts that feel natural and
fit, yeah.
essential and coming from the main message, not contrast for the sake of contrast.
Yeah, absolutely.
But on the first album, he was very helpful in uh, helping us see where we were already going, so to speak. And then, so this album is two-thirds of the original session and one-third of the session we did with him. And
Yeah, I
then
saw, yeah.
we
It's like
we
half a year
we
distance,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And then we mixed it together with him and selected the tracks and put the order. And that has always been one of my favorite things to do with Manfred, is to put the
The
things in the
sequence, yeah. I wanted to ask you about that, yeah.
Reihenfolge, the
Yeah,
the
it's always a
sequence.
storyline, I think.
Yeah, I love that, and Manfred is equally passionate about that, and yeah, it's I really like that process.
Yeah, it's every record has that when I listen to your albums. I mean, in
Yeah,
general, ECM records tend to have that. Like
yeah,
it's like
yeah,
reading a novel, or something like that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And you
So
can
cool.
also read the chapters as short stories, of
Yeah,
course, and it's totally okay also that people make playlists and listen to single tracks, but in an album, if you listen from beginning to end, that should be an added value,
yes.
a deeper message, and that feels very important to me, and I'm very glad to be on a label that still cherishes that and
Honors that,
still
yeah.
plays their main passion and their main emphasis on the album as a unified work of art.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's so. I mean, I still buy CDs, and obviously the
Yeah,
younger generation, it's like Spotify, whatever,
yeah,
mix,
yeah,
shuffle, and it's like it's such a
yeah,
lost
yeah.
art of, you know, making a coffee, sit
E-
down, and just listen to music for an
Exactly,
hour.
exactly.
Like,
Yeah, yeah,
so nice, and
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, it is.
it's
Mhm,
nice
mhm.
that yeah, that so much attention is paid to this in ECM. I mean, that's so
Yeah,
important and
yeah,
really beautiful. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, he's such an integral part of, I've heard from many musicians, of creating this story, I'll put it like that. And yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Uh,
true.
Tort, I wanted to ask you, I've read you studied psychology as well. And how does that influence all that we talked about now? I mean,
Yeah,
like this restraint and ego, I mean, that must there be some influence or connection. I mean,
yeah. My studies before going to the Conservatory of Music, I did 3 years of university studies. And that was in sociology and psychology and comparative religious studies.
Oh, wow, interesting.
So that was my degree, my first university degree. And then during those years, I felt I had always been playing music all the time, but I didn't think I would have it as a profession,
Professional.
as a job. But then during those years, music became more and more central also to daytime life and forming band, and I felt eventually that I needed to do it full time, at least for a while, to see what could happen. Um, but then I was always also a bit of a nerd with theory and with aesthetic philosophy and with and what happened was that after the conservatory studies in performing arts, I got a very uh, clear feeling that some of the theory I had been reading in psychology, namely the so-called dialectical theory of self in surroundings
Okay.
and also beautiful psychology theory with uh, with couples therapy. That there was something there, perspectives from there that I felt were uh, directly applicable to the challenges in making music,
Mm,
and I got this curiosity to find out if that was something I could bring in a more formalized way to the field of musicology.
okay.
So I did then, while starting working as a musician, I also did degree, which is between master and PhD in musicology,
Wow.
where I studied the paradoxes of improvisation, musical improvisation, in the light of contemporary contemporary scenic music theory and relationship psychology, which
Oh,
was then
interesting.
the creative element of that, of bringing that together. And basically, it's about how you negotiate, how you deal with in real time the paradoxes of being inside every moment and having perspective, like feeling the music from within and at the same time building structure, making choices, dealing with disappointments, building tension over time. So
Mm,
how to be inside the music in a way where you don't get trapped, where you still have the overview, where you still have the third eye, so to speak,
mm,
and where you deal with every musical moment and also the large scale structure without being alienated by this, because uh, it's a huge challenge, and
it is. Oh,
for
it's
great improvisers, this
mm,
is it's natural to deal with it, but it's if you start thinking about it, it's extremely complex, and
absolutely.
it's so easy to get stuck in these dilemmas, in either in uh, isolated moments where you when you listen back it's not working, I because I have this creative force and I do in way good things, but the totality is not flowing,
Mm,
or this concert had a great structure, I could sit at my desk and draw it, but the moments are not alive. And for example, and the whole thing of dealing with the unexpected, or the things that disappoint you while you play, the frustrations of playing,
man, yeah.
to deal with frustrations in a creative, flowing way instead of a way where you get stuck in them, where you start metaphorically beating yourself up and you lose your self-esteem, or the flow is then broken.
Gone, yeah.
Yeah, how to deal with frustrations in a creative way, also has to do with this um, being inside and also having the third eye or the perspective, hearing it not only from the individual agent that is trying to get something out, so to speak, but also hearing everything from out there as sounding
Yeah.
music. And when you do that, very often the ego softens, the the hard clinging softens, and you are able to forgive yourself for any mistake much easier, and you're able to hear, ah, yeah, this mistake can also be used for something. I
Yeah.
can, yeah, if I repeat it in a different way, we go somewhere else with it, and yeah, yeah. So those are only a
Interesting.
few examples,
But these
and
are
that's
so important questions, actually. Like
yeah,
you know, you travel 8 hours for a gig somewhere, you're completely gone. How do
yeah,
you
yeah,
then deal with
yeah,
this? I mean, how do you get in the zone? Like, I mean, obviously you've played for many years with the band and you trust the band,
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
but
yeah. But you know, it's good to have mental tools or small mantras that you can pick up when things stiffen
mm,
and when you feel trapped. And for me, these the combination of just playing over years, and that's of course always the most important thing. But these studies led me to uh, crystallize a few mantras where I can just with a few words to in like giving myself these mantras will activate a universe of wisdom or
mm,
profound thinking that I did during those years, and so it's really a good thing to crystallize slogans that are not superficial but still easy to access in the situation of playing
mm.
when you need them, so to
Like a
speak. Yeah.
meditation. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
And of
yeah.
course, since you mentioned meditation, then in addition to the theoretical studies, for me in my life, praying and meditation has always been an important part of my journey and my
Mm,
practice also. And that doesn't mean that I have to sit in a lotus position 1 hour before
sure,
a
of
concert. I
course.
can come from a delayed flight and go right on stage, and that will work. So it's I if I have 10 seconds to close my eyes, that's good. But it's great to sometimes go deeper there and to actually sit for a while and empty the monkey mind and
Yeah,
yeah
yeah,
and
yeah,
and,
yeah, yeah.
and do these and give myself the gifts that all the major spiritual traditions talk about and offer. Me, I grew up with church and Christianity, and luckily I was blessed with a liberal way of theology that means I didn't have to leave Christianity. I could study Buddhism and
Mm,
Sufism
yeah,
and come back to it in a very open-minded way. So to me, church and praying still is really important. But
mm,
of course, if you grow up with it in the strictest, most oppressive sense, then you have to go somewhere else because then it's no longer liberating.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Wow, interesting. Cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's I often have problems with that sometimes, not being in the concert, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Like, or
yeah,
you are
yeah,
in there and suddenly it's something slips and you're like, oh fuck,
yeah,
it's gone.
yeah,
You know, it's like
yeah,
gotta back,
yeah,
gotta
yeah,
get back in, and that this
yeah.
it's an issue
It's a huge issue.
with everyone.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, interesting.
Mhm,
Yeah,
mhm.
man, what's on the schedule for the upcoming? We talked already about some gigs and touring, and
Yeah.
what's on the schedule for you for the upcoming months? And
Let's see. I just yeah, I had some intense weeks now. I obviously also play with a few side projects. So last week was solo concert in Serbia,
Really? Oh man,
and
that's amazing.
yeah, it was a great festival in Pančevo
Pancho, oh, you played
outside.
there? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, beautiful. And then a concert with a Norwegian folk singer in southern Norway,
Beautiful.
and church liturgical music meditation in solo piano.
Hmm.
And then tonight we're playing with the trio here in Oslo. And next week, I think it is, or the week after, we have a tour of Holland and Germany with the trio. And then next year again, we will have a longer tour of the US and Canada and more Germany.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so that's some of it. And then I work with some choirs, and I
Hmm,
write some arrangements or compositions and improvise with choirs.
really? Wow.
And yeah, those are some of the
That's a lot.
things. It's
Beautiful, man.
very, yeah, I'm very blessed to have like a main project with the trio, and
Still,
some side projects that are really just connected, but also offering different soundscapes and different angles.
yeah, that's so
So
important.
it's yeah, it's a beautiful totality.
Yeah, man, solo album. We need that slowly.
Well, I love playing solo now. It's not easy
Oh,
to fill a whole concert, and I do that always without a set list. Just start somewhere and see what happens, and that takes really a lot of soft discipline to make good structures and not play everything you can all the time and all these things. But when it works, it's beautiful. I don't know, maybe at one point also a recording that could
yeah,
be.
would be
See.
beautiful. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Solo is like that's the test for
Yeah.
for every instrument. When I played my first solo guitar gig, I was like, shit, man. It's like such a
Yeah.
stressful moment. Like
Yeah.
in a way, I mean, then you loosen up. But
Yeah.
yeah, fantastic. Cool, Tort. I'll leave you a nice what is now Friday
On
uh,
Friday. Yeah, it's Friday.
afternoon, and
Yeah.
thanks
It's
for finding
beautiful
the
to
time,
talk to
man.
you. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
you